Don't you forget you're special. Don't you forget you're special.
We were all born different, even those that look alike, even twins have differences and can be identified.
Hello, welcome to The Able Show. My name is Elon Carter. I am your host, and I have my co-hosts here, Astrid, Scott, and Liz. And we have a special guest today. We're gonna take you back in time. We're gonna bring you back to today's time. We're gonna have a rockin' good time. We have Midnight Star, formerly, and now they're the Calloway Brothers. Welcome and take it away, DJ X-Ray.
All you gotta do is just know that you're special. Come on.
Life will always test you, turn you to the best you. Don't know what you've been through, but I hope you get through. I can be a friend who is someone you can vent to when it feels this world's against you and you forget you're special. Wet my whistle.
Welcome. I am so excited to have you guys on the show. I have to say, because DJ X-Ray played my favorite song, he did not know this. I was gonna say to you, when I was 16, I used to dance on Soul Train.
Hey.
And I used to dance to Wet My Whistle because it was my favorite song. I would come down the line, I'm like, ooh, because I was always shy. But when Wet My Whistle came on, I was like, hey. And I remember when you guys were on the show. So welcome. You guys introduce yourselves.
I'm Vincent Calloway.
And I'm Reggie Calloway, and I wrote Wet My Whistle. Thinking about you, had you in mind.
I remember that time when you guys were performing. It was like, oh, I was so excited. We were always excited when we had like a group that we were happy about. But you guys had so many like big hit records. Like some of my favorite, No Parking on the Dance Floor and Freakazoid. You know, if I think about back then, right? Because music today is so more, it's a lot of exploitation sexually. You guys were so clever how you wrote those songs because you were saying sexual things. I was 16, I didn't know what that meant, Wet My Whistle. I was just jamming.
What does it mean?
I didn't know what you were talking about. I was like, ooh, I just like this song. Freakazoid, I didn't know what that meant, but looking back now, and what do you think about music today? Because it's not, you just say it. They're just blatant on the radio.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess what we're trying to do too is make things a little more artistic, you know, more so than just come straight out and say what it is you want to say. But
And there's always that the poetic value of entendres, you know, the double entendre. When I teach songwriting, you know, I say if you can get to a triple entendre, meaning if you can take one book and make it mean three different things, then the brain has to process all that, and then it could choose its own meaning at its own time. You know, for instance, Wet My Whistle, as a songwriter, we're always looking for concepts. It came out of a magazine of a sort of a whiskey or a wine advertisement.
Yeah.
But then I was able to take that and use all the different entendres that made it special, so you can make it your own, you know.
Yeah. And as songwriters, I know you guys play instruments. So do you think that really like helps? Because you always had really catchy choruses, which is the key to writing a good song, you know, for people to like the songs. And so what do you attribute that to?
Well, most of it comes from studying other songs, you know, and then the era that we actually grew up in. You know, you get to go through all the great songs, Poison Ivy, Do You Love Me? Do You Really Love Me? We're hearing all this stuff now that I can dance, and it had so much meaning that stuck with us so deeply. And then when you study other great songs, you know, you study the great songwriters, you see how important that is. But it's that one thing that sticks in your mind. You may not know any lyric of the whole song, but you remember that chorus. And oftentimes, we hear a song and we're singing along, especially in our younger days, and we're singing that song out loud and we think we know every word. And then later on we realize, that's not the right word. You got the hook nailed.
What era of music inspired your music the most?
well, I think a lot of the Motown, you know,
I didn't get the Motown.
Yeah, the Motown. I mean, that's for us set a big stage, you know, because not only the music, but just the whole principle of grooming the artists. You know, the artists had to, you know, come out and work on their, you know, how to do interviews, which I'm terrified.
Love the suit.
But even the Beatles, picked up so much from the Motown sound, and from all those great writers and who they studied with. And when we look at song structure, whether it's rap or whether it's Bach or Beethoven, you begin to see that there's similarities. Even in the instrumental, it has hooks that come back. They would call them themes, returning themes that would come back in that song that made you say, "Oh wow, da 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 da, oh my, that's my part." Right, so you can get that in people's mind, and that's my part. That's the part I really love.
Yeah, and what was it that made your music so different than the music that you listened in Motown?
Well,
what gave it its own spark?
Well, we growing up in Cincinnati, James Brown did a lot of his recording right there in Cincinnati.
The funk capital.
She's a quick learner.
Bootsy Collins, of course, George Clinton, Funkadelic.
Oh yeah.
Calloway Brothers was right up the road from us. So the funk music that came from Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you guys definitely had the funk sound. So I grew up with the Motown legend. My father's Otis Williams from the Temptations. So I grew up with the whole Motown and just being around that music. And as now, not realizing like how amazing that was as a kid, because it was normal to me, right? But then I look back and like I hear the music, and as a kid I heard it all the time. I was like, yeah, whatever. But then when I heard you guys' music, Midnight Star, and I was dancing on the show at such a young age, and that funk era, the music was so much fun. So even though you guys say yes, the Motown inspired you, you had like a new sound, right? You took the tools that you needed, and that new sound made it your own, and that's what made the group so successful.
Yeah, it's like, every era begins to take from the old and recreate. If you can imagine, doo-wop, and then turning into the Motown era, they began to add that beat, that backbeat, that tambourine that wasn't,
right.
In just the old country western doo-wop or even blues. So we did the same thing. It's you can study just by being around things, and you can study by like diving into it, like what was James Brown talking about when he said "be on the one." It was a real message. When I'm teaching a band of musicians to play with us, I have to try to explain to them, you guys are gonna have to be on the one. This just playing the music just like this is not gonna get it. It's gotta be, you got to hit it. So you got to get that funk. Otherwise, it's just
Well, you guys brought it. We're gonna take a break right now. We will be right back with more from the Calloway Brothers.
This is an emergency. This is an emergency. Electricity.
Welcome back to the Calloway Brothers. We have so much more to talk about because you guys exited Midnight Star and started just your own thing, the Calloway. When did that happen, and how did that come about, and why did you decide to do your own thing from the other members?
It was, go ahead, Vincent.
Oh, I was going to let you take it. I was going to set it the stage of the year. 1986.
1986. Yeah, so we've been gone for a good while. Sometimes it's just time, whether you want it to be time or whether you don't want it to be time. But in order to make it so beautiful and smooth, it was definitely the time. And then to go back and work with other great artists. When we left, we went right into our first production project was Natalie Cole. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we broke out with Natalie Cole with the #1 record with Natalie Cole, and then we got a call. Yes, then we got a call from Sylvia Rowan saying she had these 2 young kids that were sons of Eddie Levert and their cousin. They needed a hit song, so we gave them Casanova, which was another #1 record.
Oh, you guys wrote Casanova?
And
I
then,
did not know that. I like that.
And then along comes Teddy Pendergrass, who had gracefully survived the car accident, paraplegic from his waist down. And it was very, very inspiring to write a song for him called Joy, another #1 record. And then top that off with Gladys Knight, Love Overboard, Grammy-winning, another #1 record. So practically 4 in a row. And then we got the call from Dick Griffey who said, "You guys want to do your own album?" We said, "Of course, we've been waiting off. We've been waiting forever for this call. What we got to do?" Yeah. But,
And you guys had a really big hit. I remember my friend and I in the car, and we're driving up the street, and I Want Money came on. I Want to Be Rich.
Oh man, this was the first time you heard it?
At the radio. No, he was screaming at the radio. He goes, "I hear this song all the time. I really want to be rich. I'm just mad because the song's on." But it stuck with us. It was so catchy, right? Like he would always sing it when it come on. He goes, "I know I want to be rich." But it was so funny you wrote that song because, you know, people were talking to themselves.
So we
It's a great song.
we just recorded the 35th anniversary of I Want to Be Rich. And we called it I Want to Be Rich Anniversary. And it's been doing really, really well. Just a whole new version produced by Darius Barnes, who's the son of John Barnes, a great songwriter, worked with Michael Jackson and producer. So to get that youthful vibe, we gave it just a total twist, totally different. And then we turned around and did Freakazoid Reboot. So the new Freakazoid is out.
I want to hear the
I
new
really like the Freakazoid track because I feel like it was ahead of its time. It had the kind of an electronic element to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this reboot is more youthful. It's fat. You got to get the reboot. Talk to the DJ over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reboot.
Yeah, spin that.
Get the young people to play it at the parties. Now it's appropriate for the time, right? What's going on?
Yeah, it's all on
It's
Spotify
definitely
where you can find music.
We should have it during the trial.
Yeah, we did
Play that song.
We did videos on it. I Want to Be Rich Reboot has
Yeah.
anniversary has this beautiful video where we're out on a yacht for the day and cruising
Totally
the
appropriate.
seas. With Ash Gupta as one of the director, and then for the I Want to Be Rich, for the Freakazoid reboot, we did an animated video while we gear up for the next song. My son did the animation and the
I know
illustration.
You love anime.
Yeah. So he's really into all the anime stuff. So it's got that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And the storyline. Talk about storylines. So we get to when you write with all these entendres, you can change the story, or you can add to the story. So Freakazoid, the video, is the Calloway Freakazoids have been left on Earth to protect the world, and at this point, the Freakazoids from Planet FZ come to retrieve them and take them back because their time here has expired. So they come looking for the Calloway Brothers to take them back to Planet FZ, and we're like, just do our usual thing, helping people, saving the world.
I need to see this.
Yeah, you got to see it.
Scott's totally loving this. Scott's
I like the
all
lore.
lighting
I love
up.
the lore. I'm like, okay. All right, I'm interested.
Scott's like, we're going to planets? Okay.
Yeah, so they come through they come through a hole in the wall, like
Right.
one foot comes through, then the other foot comes through, and Freakazoid's playing.
Oh, that's going to be cool.
Yeah. Well, it's already out, so it's cool. You go to our social media, you go to our YouTube and check it out. But when they get there, they come to get the Calloways, and we've already moved on to another place. We just got to helping out some children that were in a little rough and tumble. People were trying to intimidate them, and we cleaned that mess up. And by the time they get to that spot, we moved on to the next spot. And now we're helping out some old people who are trying to cross the street, get a cat out of the tree or whatever. And when they get there, we're gone again. But this third time.
So what you originally wrote the song about has matured into a metamorphosis into something else, like it's grown, like, right?
Yes.
It's like a butterfly
We
now.
can tell the story easier.
Yeah.
So now they get to us in the third set, and there's this evil, sinister people have left this anti-funk bomb that if it explodes, there'll be no funk on Earth. So the Calloway Brothers have to disarm this funk bomb. But we're having trouble. So the two female freakazoids that I'm looking for,
Do they have names? What's the female freakazoid?
that's to come in the next one.
And the outfits. So they have the outfits, and you got to give
Got
them.
the
A whole rock opera.
So they help us, and we diffused the funk bomb. The earth is saved, and the two female freakazoids decide, well, we're gonna put some words in. We're gonna leave you guys here. You're doing such a good job protecting the earth. We let you stay here for another term, and they fly back off, and then we're just because we have other episodes to do. We're like these Calloway
Right.
secret agents because in the new video, which is called Six Pack,
Yeah.
then you really see the full force of the Calloway secret agents, the James Bonds
Can't wait
of
to see
music.
it.
Oh, I cannot wait to see
That's coming out. That's
Double
We're gonna
this is
take-
our biggest video ever.
I can't wait.
It's
We're
coming.
going to take a break because I definitely want to hear. Scott is really into this. I want to ask
I like
more questions,
007.
Scott, 'cause it's your thing. He's like Freakazoid, and Freakazoid girls too. Come on. Look at Scott's laughing.
Listen, no.
His light up. Okay.
You can watch it on the
We'll
break.
be
You
right
can-
back. Go get a snack.
Freakazoid
and
reboot.
I want DJ X-Ray
I'll-
to bring it on.
I'll be a freakazoid. Come on and wind me up.
Welcome back. We are now getting the reboot, and we are talking about the asteroids and the freakazoids and planets. And I want to hear about, you got to give the girls a name. You have to make them like, their own, well, come on, Scott, you know how the alien-
Three-dimensional characters.
Well, they do have names.
You can have Scott
Asteroid
kind of mold the girls away.
and robot. And robot.
Yes. You got to give them the sexy
Oh,
asteroid.
funny, very similar to mine.
Astrid.
Oh, see.
Mine
Yeah.
is Astrid, yes.
So we'll make that the Earth name.
Okay.
Yeah, but in
Astrid, she could be one of the freakazoids. With her little outfit.
Down.
yeah, but the
Calloway and Mr. Calloway. Throughout your careers, has it been more fun for you to be in the scenes or behind the scenes of the entertainment?
Oh man, probably both. I mean, I think with going back, we both had our own local groups in Cincinnati. Reggie traveled all over with his local group, and same with me. And then, once joining Midnight Star, it just took it to another level. So we're, out there, performing and doing concerts and, fantasizing about being on a Soul Train and and then to get an opportunity to work with some of the greatest artists, working with Gladys Knight, seeing her take a great song and sing it one take.
Amazing.
It's like Muhammad Ali.
No
It's-
AI voices.
That right?
AI, everything is auto-tuned. I mean, it's totally different. You don't have to have talent, you just have to be the package where you come from a different era. I saw that you did some stuff for Toni Braxton and The Deal. What song did you guys do for The Deal?
well, not Toni Braxton, but the Deal. So we majority of the deals from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And we signed them to our production company when we were Midnight Star, Mid-Star Music, and got them their first record deal, and that included Babyface and Antonio Reed and the rest of the guys, and produced their first album with the #2 record, Body Talk.
Okay.
And then, launched their total career, and then that led to them working with Toni Braxton and all the other great acts that they worked with. So that's another
funky song.
another whole branch from the tree.
Yeah.
That's growing. That follows up with your question about what do we like most behind. We would call that behind the scenes, right? Not a lot of people know about that, but what great joy to build other careers, discover other talents, and also it has a great effect on your longevity. If you're just performing, then you only got one check coming in. But if you're performing, producing, writing, signing other acts, signing other writers, than
Multiple streams of income.
Yes,
multiple
of
streams
income.
and multiple streams of interest because you never get bored.
Yes.
You know, if we had to say, well, we gotta go, you know, we gotta go on tour, we gotta pay the rent. You know, that's and a lot of artists are in that position. They don't have. They're the most famous artists, but they don't have other income sources, and it's really rough.
That's definitely.
Some just love it. I remember we met Cat Calloway's daughter in the studio, and we talked almost all night. Ironically, we were recording "I Want to Be Rich" that night, and she said if Cat wasn't on the road, he was the meanest, evilest, saddest.
Really?
Coot.
I was going to ask you guys if you guys were related to him.
Somewhere down the line.
Somewhere down the line.
That Virginia portal.
Yeah, but no. To your answer, when my father, who's in his 80s, the Temptations is still performing. Everybody's younger, and when COVID happened and he was off the road, or even as growing up when he was home, he was just mean. Right? He was happy being on the road. He was never like, he just wasn't in a good mood. That's all his life. And then when COVID happened, he slowed down a lot. And now he's like dancing with the young 30-year-old guys in the group. Like he's still out performing, but he is one of those artists that they keep him on the road. But when he comes off, you know, some people, like you said, they really like it. They like
that's
being in hotels.
thing.
That's a hard life because you have to really eat well and take care of yourself because going on one-nighters, going on that tour bus as you get older, I mean, that's wearing on you. And you guys were blessed that you have so many hit records, you know?
Yeah, I think creatively too, to just be an artist, you know, certain songs we couldn't perform, but the songs we maybe wrote and produced for the artists, you know, kind of.
That's a really great point. Like when we wrote and produced "Meeting in the Ladies' Room," that's a song that it served them so well. You know, they were able to take it, to the top of the charts.
That was a huge hit for them. I mean, that's like their biggest hit.
Yes.
Meeting in the Ladies' Room. You guys couldn't do that though. You couldn't be on the stage singing "Meeting in the Ladies." You could say "Meeting in the Dudes' Room." I can't sing a lick. That's why I'm not trying to sing.
Later we found out that Belinda really wanted to do that song.
Meeting in the Dudes' Room.
But it's always after it's done, because not everybody hears a hit in the raw, But when it becomes a hit, it's like, oh yeah, God, that would.
Well, even your favorite song, "Wet My Whistle." Didn't Dick Griffey want to give? I was talking about giving it to the Whispers.
Well, I wrote "Wet My Whistle" for the Whispers.
Oh.
But
really?
they never heard it. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. I'm glad you guys did it.
Yeah, and then Dick
I mean,
Griffey,
I love the Whispers, but it like
they would have killed it too. Yeah,
Star.
Dick Griffey put it this way. He was the president of Soul Records. He said they didn't need that. They don't need that song.
They don't need that song. They had enough hits.
Y'all keep that for yourselves.
He's like, they don't need that song.
Yeah. He was so right. He saved us because it gives us, if everything was like Freakazoid and No Parking, it would really pigeonhole us. But "Wet My Whistle" opened the door to Midas Touch and so many other sounds.
Slow jam.
And Curious and all that stuff. It showed that we could do more than just, one type of
You definitely
sound.
came out with a banger.
Thank you.
Do you have any new music coming out?
We were talking about Six Pack. So I Want to Be Rich is about sort of financial wealth, but we also add in Full of Love, Peace and Happiness. Six Pack zeroes right in on wellness. So this is going to be like our legacy song. If we never do another song, Six Pack talks about the mental, the physical, the emotional, the social, the financial, and the spiritual. That's your six pack. You can have all the money in the world with no health.
Oh, yeah.
And you could be in great shape, but you're not contributing to the world. You have no friends.
And the music feeds the soul.
Exactly.
And I'm going to end on this note. I do feel as we are healing and we're evolving, as a world, that frequency is healing to the body. And so your era had that frequency. Like people say that about Michael Jackson. You came from an era where it made you feel good, and that's why people got up and danced. So that goes to your reboot of the healing and having your body heal itself. We thank you for your contribution. You guys have been my favorite. I'm so excited. He played the song without me knowing because that's what I was going to open with. And I thank you guys so much. Thank you for coming. Let us know your social media where we can find you.
CallowayOfficial.com is our website. and all of our socials, Calloway Official, from Spotify to Facebook to.
And will you repeat the name of the reboot again so we can go watch this Planet video? If
Yeah,
Scott's going to call you on that one, he's going to.
Freakazoid is Freakazoid Reboot. And the new I Want to Be Rich is I Want to Be Rich Anniversary. Out on all platforms, videos out on all platforms. And then get ready for Six Pack. I'll tell you the concept on Six Pack.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Blow your mind.
Okay, great. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for we had such a wonderful time with the Calloway Brothers, and we want to have you come back, and we're going to have DJ X-Ray take it away.